The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, welcome to this week's edition of the Pool Guy Show. Today I'm going to be talking of what I carry in my truck, kind of like that kid's game, what's in my pocket. This week's podcast is brought to you by InyoPools.com. Inyo Pools has been helping pool owners find the right pool parts in 2001. With over 50,000 pool parts in stock, order online today and have the parts delivered right to your door. And the podcast is also brought to you by the Riptide Pool Vacuum System. The Riptide is a powerful vacuum system that gets large debris off the bottom of the pool rapidly. You can learn more about the Riptide Pool Vacuum at www.riptidevac.com. And so what I carry on my pool truck varies from time to time. So I'm going to tell you what I currently have on my truck to start 2019. I'll start with my pool poles. Currently I'm carrying 3 poles on my truck. I have the Skimlite 6 to 18 foot tri-pole that I carry. I also have the Power Pole with the red handle. I believe this one is a reinforced version of the Power Pole. And I'm currently testing out the Primate Pole, which is a carbon fiber pole. So I guess I'll briefly go over all 3 poles for you. I've always used the Skimlite Tri-pole. Since I first started in the business, that was my go-to pole. I would use the the 7 to 21 foot one, but that one got a little heavy, even though it went to 21 feet. And then I didn't have that many big commercial accounts anymore, so I stopped carrying that one and I went to the smaller version, which goes to 18 feet, slightly lighter, comes in about 3.5 pounds or so. 4 pounds. And then I also picked up the Power Pole last year. I like the Power Pole. It's durable. It's very strong. It doesn't have a lot of variety because it's just a 2-piece pole. So it's not quite as versatile as the tri-pole that I use from Skimlite. But I do like it because it's very firm. I do like the fact you can just set it by clicking it. So that's a nice feature. I find it a little bit loud in the morning. I start really early, and so that pole really gets the dogs barking. So about 2 months ago, I got the Primate Pole. It's a carbon fiber pole, and I've been using it pretty much for all my everyday cleaning, and I keep the other 2 poles as spares right now as I'm testing this one out. I really like it because it's really light. After using it for a couple weeks, I really felt the difference in the weight. It weighs about 2 pounds. So it's really, really light. And I went back and I used the Skimlite Tri-pole for a day, and I can really feel the difference from one to the other for sure. Now the Primate Pole takes some getting used to. It's got a level lock kind of thing, like the same kind of things they use when they trim bushes. And the third piece is kind of odd. It has 2 V-clips in there, and basically you can just extend it out from one to the other. So it's not as adjustable as the other poles, but I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to the fact that I would just collapse down the second part and use the third extension, or adjust the second part and leave the third one extended when I need to. And so I've been testing it. I'm still testing it. Since they're all handmade, there may be some variations as far as when you put your brush and pole in there. I noticed that there may be a variation on that, but those things can be worked out, and they break in and they get a lot easier to take the parts out, put the parts in over time. It has a reinforced fiberglass front, which makes it a little bit different than your standard pole. And it's supposed to be 3 times stronger than your aluminum pole. It's definitely lighter. So I've been using that one and I really like it. I guess the downside is price point. Currently, in December it was $169, and I'm not sure if they're going to raise the price back to $199. So it's a really expensive pole, and it may not be for everyone because of the price point. And I'm testing it still, so it's got 2 months on it. And if you have any questions about it, maybe 6 months down the road as I'm using it, I'll let you know how it's holding up. But the Skimlite Tri-pole is really good. It's very long lasting, and it's a great pole, and you can't go wrong with that one. And the Power Pole also is a really good choice. I think any of those 3 poles would be better than just your standard cheap, $20, $30 pole that will lock up on you or unlock on you. And so I would definitely pick between those 3 poles and use those exclusively if you're going to do the service. They're just premier poles, premium poles, and the poles will last a long time anyway, so investing in them is not a big deal. As far as the nets go, I've been using the Red Baron rag bag probably for a good 3 years. I used to use a different leaf rake, but the company went out of business, so it's not worth mentioning. But I use that one for a long time. You'll probably see it in the older videos. It's the blue bag or the white bag with the yellow trim on it, but they're no longer in business, so I switched exclusively to the Pirahna Pool leaf rakes for now, and I'm using the Red Baron. I'm going to be testing some other leaf rakes out this year just to see the difference in them. I like the rag bag because it's very easy to empty, and it's relatively inexpensive, and it's very long lasting and durable. So, one Red Baron will last me a good, 4 to 5 months of use before they start wearing out. And they usually wear out on the edges when I'm scooping off the bottom of the pool. Those corners will rub against the pool surface and wear out. But it's definitely worth the investment for the Red Baron net. It's a great leaf rake, and it's large enough for everyday use and small enough for everyday use, if that makes any sense. And I also carry a smaller sand silt bag with me to get the fine particles out of spas if I need to, or really fine particles on the surface. It's a really great leaf rake to also have on your truck. So I carry at least 2 of the Red Barons on my truck at all times, and the sand silt bag, and I also carry a couple spare leaf rakes for the customers. Whenever I go back there and notice that their leaf rake is broken, I'll swap out their leaf rake on the spot, and then I'll charge them for it later. So I carry that. And then, of course, I've been using the smooth bore vacuum hose. Again, since I started, basically that's the only hose I've used, and I should be testing other hoses out. Maybe this year I'll pick up another company. I just like the long durability, long life of this particular hose. I use a 50-foot hose. It's very long lasting, and I find that it just doesn't cavitate, and it just so the only time you have to replace it, if you lose it, sometimes it'll fall off your truck. I've lost one before that fell off my T-Dually cart, and other than that, the cuff may break over time, but it's a super long-lasting hose, so definitely invest in one of these. It'll last you a very long time. Then I use the Pentair ProVac. I usually update the ProVac when the white, I don't know what you call that, the white strips on the bottom, they start to wear out. They're really not replaceable because the bottom kind of wears out too, so they'll start coming off the edges. And I've tried replacing them. They have a blue version in there, but that just makes the vacuum stick to the bottom of the pool. So once the bottom white strips start wearing out, that's when I start thinking about replacing and updating with another one. They're not super expensive, and for the amount of use you're going to get out of it, it's definitely worth upgrading them every couple of years to get a new model. That way you could vacuum your pool a lot easier. So definitely the Pentair ProVac is the go-to vacuum. I like the bearing wheels, and I like the swivel on top. So it's a great vacuum head. They sell 2 different sizes. I have a video detailing the Pentair ProVac, and you can get either size that you want. For a leaf canister, I like the Pentair Leaf Trap. I find that it's pretty easy because you just snap open the lid to empty the debris when I'm vacuuming. So the Pentair Leaf Trap is great for your manual vacuum and hose to capture all that debris that goes in the pump. I highly recommend vacuuming a pool with a leaf canister or leaf trap attached to it. That way the pump doesn't get filled up with debris. And for my pool brush, I'm still a big fan of the Sweep Ease brush. I carry both types of brush on my truck, and they're very long lasting. I like them, and I think I'll probably try some other brushes this year also. I came from the A and B brushes, which are not nearly as good as the Sweep Ease brush, so try one of these. You'll really like the Sweep Ease brush, and the owner of the company is really nice, and he's designed a really great product. For the tile cleaning, I like the Pirahna Pool tile brush. It just snaps right onto your pole. There's no need to carry a separate wooden tile brush back with you. You just have this attachment that clips onto the pool pole. I have a video on this also. Convenient. You can also change the pad to a coarse red pad if you need to make scrubbing a lot easier. But it's a very long-lasting brush also. You just change the pad basically, and the part that clips into your pole should last for years. Currently, I'm carrying two vacuum systems with me. I have the Riptide SL in the back of my truck. It's taking the place of the Power Vac for now. I've been testing the Riptide now for, gosh, over almost 2 years now since they came out. And I know the Power Vac is highly effective. There's no need to test that one. They've been in business for over 15 years. The Power Vac is also a great vacuum system. But the Riptide I've been testing to make sure that it's working well in every situation. I guess the only drawback with the Riptide is it's not as maneuverable as the Power Vac, and it doesn't do steps quite as well as the Power Vac will do. It does, however, have a very wide cleaning path, so it's faster than the Power Vac. But definitely either of those two would be a great choice for vacuum system. And I have the bottom feeder that I've been testing out. This is a great portable vacuum system. I have a video on this also. You'll see the fact that the battery actually attaches to the pole and you submerge it with it. The battery lasts for about 2 hours. It has less power than the Power Vac and Riptide. It has a 18 or 20 pound thrust motor, whereas the Riptide and Power Vac use a 30-pound thrust motor. But it's great in a lot of situations. Probably not as good if the pool is just totally thrashed with debris. But for normal leaf debris cleanup, and instead of manually vacuuming the pool or skimming, the bottom feeder actually fits a great niche. I would say the bottom feeder fits in between using a full-size vacuum system, using a manual vac, or skimming the bottom. So if you get to a pool and it looks like you can skim the bottom in about 10 minutes, I would say the bottom feeder can do it much quicker without any kind of effort on your part. You just move it back and forth like a vacuum on the bottom. So it's a great little portable vacuum system. Currently, I think the price is $9.95, and if you go to my website, there's a discount link, and if you do use that code or link, you could save $100 on that. So it's a great portable vacuum system. I recommend it. I've been testing it also to make sure that it's reliable and durable, and so far it's held up really well. I would say almost 6 months now since I've been using it, so it's also a great choice for a vacuum system. So like I said, currently I use the Riptide SL and also the bottom feeder right now. I also have the PortaVac by Advantage. It's a portable filtration system. I usually keep it in my garage until I need it, and I'll hook it on to my truck where the T-Dually cart sits. And of course I have the T-Dually cart for the vacuum and hose. A lot of pool guys have the T-Dually cart. You'll see on the back of the truck. It looks like a dolly with wheels and a container for your chemicals and the spot to connect your manual vacuum. So very popular and very effective. So definitely think about getting a cart of some kind, either a vacuum system or the T-Dually service cart. And I have a T-bar mount on the back of my truck, so I can connect two carts to it at once. The T-bar mount will slide right into the truck's receiver, and then there's two additional receivers on the other ends of it, which is great because then you can see your license plate in the middle, and you can connect two different carts to the back of your truck at the same time. And I believe it's just like $200, a little over $200 for the T-bar mount. So it's not super expensive, but it's very well made and it's very stable. It's a great way to connect two carts to your truck at once. So if you need more information about the T-bar mount, you can go to T-Dually's website, and it's a very easy website. It's T and then DULA.com, Tdually.com, and you can check out the T-bar mount that I use on my truck to connect two carts at once. Highly convenient. Definitely recommend it. So that's basically the equipment that I'm carrying in the back of my truck right now. I also use the WaterTech Precision 2.0. I really like it with the sand silt bag. It's great for spot vacuuming. I also use the Volt FX8. Carry that also. I've been using their new version. It's called the Pulse. It's a small little cleaner. It looks almost like the catfish cleaner that they make, except I really like the bag that's inside there to catch the debris. So I've been using the Pulse for spas. You can use the Pool Blaster Max if you wanted to. Those are really good, but I really like the WaterTech cleaners. They're great for spot vacuuming and for cleaning spas, and I highly recommend it. If you're going to start with one, I would say start with the Volt FX8 Li. It's a great in between commercial and residential usage. The size of it is great, and you're going to find the power exceptional, and you really will like it with the sand silt bag. You would just get the regular Pool Blaster sand silt bag for it. They don't really make one specifically for that cleaner, and I think they're just really great, a great product that will speed up your day. So inside my truck, I have a four-door truck. Basically, there's no room for a passenger because I have it stockpiled with parts and different things in there. So what I carry inside my truck, of course, I have a drill with the multi-torque socket set to clean filters with. This definitely will speed up your filter cleaning, getting the bolts on and off the filters. You can buy the 3-pack that has the 3 main sockets for for most of the filters out there. I highly recommend the multi-torque kit for filter cleaning. And I carry a multitude of spare parts. I have every filter that I have on my route, I have a spare O-ring for it. So I make sure I have that. Some I have several O-rings for. So I have several of the 2000 series Redline O-rings. I carry several of the Penta FNS Plus O-rings on my truck, and that's also good for the Clean and Clear filters that they have, Clean and Clear Plus filters. I carry the Hayward O-rings. I carry the Jandy O-rings, which are really expensive, the Jandy ones. And I do not carry the Stay Right System 3 O-ring because it's like $50 for that O-ring, my cost, so it's really expensive. But if I do replace one, I will pick it up. A good trick with the Stay Right O-ring, if you can't get it to seal, is just turn it inside out, and that should give you another filter cleaning out of it before you replace it. And just lube it up really well, and that should seal it good. But yeah, I carry just about every filter tank O-ring that you can think of on my truck. I also know which pumps I have on my route, so I carry at least 2 spare O-rings for every pump type I have on my truck. Whisper Flow, Super 2 pump. So I have every O-ring, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I label them so I know which O-ring is which O-ring. I carry O-rings for the leaf canisters on my route. I carry O-rings for the chlorinators. I carry O-rings for the filter stem pipe and for the filter drain plugs. I carry heater drain plug O-rings. So I have plenty of O-rings on my truck. I don't think I will get to an account where I can't change out the part on the spot with a new O-ring if I need to. I also carry miscellaneous parts like Jandy valve handles. I carry skimmer lids, skimmer weir gates. Just about any part that needs to be replaced on the spot, I carry it. I know the cleaners on my route, so I have a lot of Creepy Crawlies, Zodiac cleaners, and the pool cleaner by Hayward. So I carry all the parts for that. Diaphragms, tires for the pool cleaner. MX8, I carry the directional devices there, A and B. I carry tracks on my truck. I want to be able to, I have also parts for the Polaris pressure cleaners. I have the bags, I have the bearings, I have the wheels. Basically, I have backup valves and I have the float. So basically, any part or any cleaner that needs to be fixed, I can pretty much do it right there on the spot without removing it from the pool, which is convenient because then you'll keep the cleaner running in the pool during the week instead of pulling it out, changing the parts, and bringing it back. I used to carry a couple spare cleaners on my truck, the Zodiac G2 cleaners that were old, but I don't have a lot of room in my truck for those. They're pretty big. I do have a spare pool cleaner if I need to swap one out, but generally I just bring the parts so I can fix the cleaner on the spot. I also carry a few extra hoses in my truck. Sometimes the hoses will rip or tear, and so it's good to have at least 3 or 4 extra cleaner hoses on your truck. I also carry some of the Zodiac locking hoses on my truck. So basically anything that needs to be done, I can do it from the parts that I have on my truck. I have backwash pistons, backwash O-rings. So kind of know what's out there, what equipment you have on your route, and then you want to stockpile your truck with O-rings, parts, and various things like that will cover it. I carry also some valves for autofills. You name it, and I pretty much have it on my truck. I spend some time organizing it, but sometimes it gets out of hand, and I have to reorganize it every few months. Because sometimes I just take stuff out and don't put things back where they're supposed to be. I do that a lot. So I spend some time looking for parts in my truck, which is really irritating, but I know it's my own fault because I don't put things back where they're supposed to be a lot of the times, and I pull things out. I carry spare bags for the riptide and for the bottom feeder, and bags for the water tech cleaners. And I mentioned I carry spare net already on my truck. So parts, I have tons of parts on my truck, and I couldn't take a passenger. Like I said, my passenger seat is full, and the back seat of my truck is full of parts and equipment. So um, whenever I have to take my wife or son somewhere, I have to unload my truck basically to take anybody in my truck. So let me go over some of the test kits. I carry test strips. I carry um, the Hawk salinity tester for salt levels in pools. That's the main digital tester that I carry with me on my truck. I like the Taylor K2005 kit. It's really convenient. I also use the Color Q Pro 7. The reagents are a little bit expensive on that one. And I also carry the Spin Touch when I need it for startups or problem pools. It's a great way to highlight your business to have the WaterLink Spin Touch. You can, when you're bidding for an account, you bring that thing out there. A lot of the times the customer will be impressed, and you can land the account with that. The drawback with the Spin Touch, it's close to $1,000 price tag, and then the discs are, it's probably less than 1,000 now, but the discs are about $2 or $2.50 each, and the discs are only usable once if you're going to do the 10 test factors. So definitely not an everyday test kit. It'd be great for commercial accounts, great for new customers, great for pools that are giving you trouble, and great for startups for sure. I definitely would recommend that if it's in your budget to have that tester, but again, it's not an everyday test kit. So it's great to have a variety of test kits on your truck to verify readings, or different situations may require a different test kit. So I carry all of those. Test strips are really convenient to get a quick reading on the pool and kind of verify the reagent testers also. And of course I have my hat, spare sunglasses, my black gloves that I use, my nitro gloves. I also have the Atlas cold water gloves for the morning. I carry plenty of dog treats on my truck, plenty of treats for the dogs. And as far as chemicals in the back of my truck, I always have liquid chlorine. I also have muriatic acid. I carry a bucket of 3-inch tablets. I don't carry the dichlor very often, but sometimes in the summer I'll pick up a bucket of dichlor. I do carry bromine tabs for my above ground spas. I have some Cal Hypo on my truck. I have some trichlor shock on my truck. On occasion, I'll carry the trichlor granular. If I have black algae or aggressive algae, I'll have that on my truck. I have 2 or 3 spare Pool RX units on my truck that I can throw in whenever I need them. I've got 2 black units and 1 blue unit at all times. So I can always put a Pool RX in a customer's pool or a green pool cleanup when needed. And then I carry the borax, and I carry baking soda to adjust the alkalinity and pH up. And basically that's what I got on my truck right now. I also have the it's the TK Caddy, the blue tote that you see in a lot of my videos. It's great to take back your pole, brush, and chemicals when you're not using your cart. And I carry a garden hose on my truck. I like the ones that clamps down. Those are really convenient, and they're really inexpensive now. You can get a good one for like $12 to $15. They just don't last very long, but they're convenient for filter cleaning or if you need a garden hose for anything. I have the stain eraser also. If there's any rust stains, I can easily scrape those off the bottom of the pool. Probably a few things I'm forgetting to mention here. I have so much stuff on my truck. But that kind of gives you a glimpse into what I'm carrying right now on my truck for service. I don't like stopping or going to get parts. So when I'm doing my filter cleaning twice a year, I'll carry all the different grids I need. So besides having all that, I stuff the back of my truck with three or four of each grid type size. So I'll have all that on my truck too. I carry some diatomaceous earth, of course, to recharge filters during backwashing. I think the key thing you can get out of this podcast is that I pretty much carry everything that I can on my truck to make things a lot easier, because going back and forth to get parts or waiting the following week to replace something, sometimes it's not cost productive if you could just carry it on your truck. So you may want to even use a van for service. A lot of guys are switching over to vans so they can put more stuff in their van. But definitely, since my truck has the 2 extra doors or the back seat, I could definitely stuff it with product and parts. So that's about it for this week's podcast. It's a look at what I carry on my truck. And if you need more resources, you can definitely go to my website. And if you're in the industry and you need further help, you can check out my coaching site. You can learn about all of this at my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. And definitely, if you need to contact me, I have an email address you can use. It's david@swimmingpoollearning.com. Again, that's david@swimmingpoollearning.com, and you can contact me directly there if you have any questions. I also have a list of all the parts and spare parts with part numbers from Pool Corp. So if you need that, let me know. Contact me. You'll find that in the back of my ebook also, and my print book. I have a list of all the parts that I use, and a lot of the stuff I mentioned in this podcast are on that list. So check that out also. And if you don't have my ebook or print book, I'll definitely be willing to email you a copy of the part list so you have that also. So I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.